Something that's fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Or, oh, I don't know actually. Oh, I guess we're not. Not here yet. Nice years.
So is this just the people that plant?
It's invited to everyone.
I mean, is that just talking, like, that's because I didn't go to the thing.
Like one of your masterminds, so like everybody will talk about like what they.
Good. I nothing to do with maybe that's good. Okay. How do they do that? Yeah, really? I know that. POU 1729. Oh. You get on the blue jacket plan, you get a free. Oh, I've heard that before. Oh. It's one here, two goals or three goals, I can't remember. Oh, not getting one. But if they score either 2 or 3 goals, but regardless of whether they win or not, you get free chili. Oh, really? I don't follow. It used to be by halls. I didn't know that. Oh, we must have been teaching it. That's great. You also need an tickets. Okay, we were. X number of seasons. So you're like, so you're one. I'm okay. I kid for my son played hockey. Oh, you're all into the hockey. I know. I know more about hockey than this. Good. So one of my son's good buddies is getting tickets too. And in the early days, you had to literally show them your ticket to get your children, and so get a little sister. Younger, still, her parents would still tell her what to do, right? After the game, her job was to scurry around underneath all the seats and grab all the tickets. So they could get a bunch of free children. Oh, that's great. I love it. And I kept you know, I had to be right. So first I said, how do us? Until they got old enough to swear and never seen them. I didn't know it wasn't fun anymore. No, that's everybody a guy in here now. And so I wasn't any bigger than I am now. Yeah, those boys get big. But they've got their gear on. Yeah. But so then still it's frustrating. Because like the floor. Yeah, so I didn't do the club. I'm not touching. But I kept scoring, you know, who makes the goals and things like that. So whenever a goal is scored, the team that scores the goal, the 5 guys on the ice called the +1. Okay. And the opposite team that gave up the goal gets a minus. Oh, I didn't have that. Yeah, that's one of their. Oh. When they give the stats, if you think about them, 50 plus minus. Oh, and that's what it is. So the more pluses you have here on the ice, more than 4. Yeah, yeah. So that was last 2 days for me. That's too tedious for me. Well, at least the guy was in there doing the clock, so you know, right. We could. I'll get our team. You get visitors. Then in the year, each kid got a sheet of all their stats. Oh, so they know. Yeah, so they knew it's nice. You know, they can look back. Right, and decide what how they done, maybe leaving in the yeah. That's better. You don't know where to go, you don't know where you're coming from. So it was, something. But. No, I heard that sound. And I think, you know, got there like a couple months, that lady, I think very happy to turn the.
Yeah.
Just the bundle, I think it was Sunday, Saturday, night. I think it was Sunday afternoon.
Oh, yeah,
I had both sides, you know, so.
I know, like, gonna be there, no. This coach, and Liberty High School, and she, when she was doing it, it was, they would have morning practices sometimes, some years they did, and some years they didn't, it just depended on where they could get from the pool. But yeah, and that was, that's horrible. And it was, and see, school starts at 7, so they had to be there at 5. Oh, that's cool. And, that's 5:30, and then we had a hour practice. Oh, God. It was school. Wow. It's warm in the pool, but when you go out, it's freezing. Oh, yeah, no. And so it's, I mean, it's.
And then after, like, when they weren't playing with me, they were supposed to be in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, please. I changed it was too short.
I love that. So pretty. And the hair.
Yeah, that pink is your color.
Yeah, 100%. Meg has like a hot pink
Yeah, that's pink.
sweater that she looks so straight into.
Yeah. I have a Friendsgiving at 6, so I was like, how can I dress for that? Oh, you're very Friendsgiving.
Yes.
Sort of like,
Very, very holiday.
That's nice pink.
My granddaughter did for
Yeah, I know.
so. So. But anyway, I think Mary will be in here. That's. Right.
My name's yesterday.
Make sure you're
Came out with Lori.
on the show and.
Last week, yeah, I think it's different. It is recording.
My, she's right. My issue, she was in the difference. Yeah. Are you coming in?
So,
Yeah. Yep, I liked her a lot. I think she'd be awesome.
Oh, she was.
So next year.
That's.
Yeah.
I'll hear a little bit.
Oh, wow.
They were planning on it, but.
I was talking to the movie. Did I say?
My daughter.
See you today?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She's scheduled for an adoption. At 30,
Oh.
but,
Oh, really?
I go on her own.
Oh, good. Oh,
Already. Progress pretty,
oh my God.
pretty good, so
Good idea.
they think that she's gonna, she don't like to walk.
All right, I thought so. Aw,
It's time. Yes. Sad. Goodness.
That's plus.
The workbook. Next, I'll talk to the, Maybe the term so we don't hold it.
No, I just dropped it out, so. Across the room.
Yeah, I'll be sitting there, so yeah.
I'm good.
No, I really do. Before I bought it, you know, I was just go to pro.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no tonight.
Well.
Everybody sign in?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Pass it around. How's everybody this morning? Awesome. Good. Everybody calm down. I'm getting too excited. Good morning. How are you? Hello, how are you? Good. Wow. That's pretty blue on blue. Very nice.
Oh, they do have blue on today. Black and blue. All right, do you wanna kick it off or do you wanna?
Yeah, I didn't know how, sure.
I walked out of the house today because I had an 8:30 meeting, which I'm not a great 8:30 meeting person, and I walked out without all my notes, but the good thing is I've been talking about this stuff all morning, so I've got a lot up here, but you go ahead and kick it off.
Awesome. All right, cool. So we're here, we're gonna talk about all the good nuggets that we learned from Jason Abrams last Tuesday. And several of you were there. It was phenomenal. I thought. Yeah, it was pretty great. So we're just gonna kind of chat about it today. I'll just start and we'll see where the conversation goes. Sound good? Okay. What was the most impactful takeaway from Jason Abrams and how do you plan to implement it in your business? Something of impact that you learned.
Well, then maybe it would be helpful if, so who was there? 1, 2, 3, okay. I was gonna give some frame of
Context,
reference
yeah.
for, some context
idea.
for those of you who weren't at that session. So I missed the first hour of it, so I didn't get the whole thing, but Jason was just really there. Talking a lot about AI, but he also, spent a fair amount of time talking about other plays, if you will, from the playbook for your business. And so, I think a lot of us have kind of hit the wall at times with AI, and everybody say I'm a little tired of hearing of it, but the reality is it's a little like the internet, right? It's not going away. It's only becoming more and more enhanced and more user friendly, right, frankly. And so Jason spent a lot of time talking about how to use this to, if you're not using it, how do you get started with it? And then he also talked about different plays for leveling up your business. So just to kind of give you the context of the meeting. And then after the session was over, then there was a private, like a luncheon. And I don't know that Joe, did you stay for that? Yeah, we didn't really touch on too much more there. So, but anyway, that was the context of the session. So Nicole's question, you guys want me to write down? I can write on the board if you want. What was the most impactful takeaway? Anybody who was there?
Impactful takeaway, maybe not the most, but instead, your contacts in LinkedIn have 9 times more income than those on Facebook. So why wouldn't you
Get more involved.
get more involved in LinkedIn? So I went and time blocked every week to go make 20 comments and share 20 posts
Oh, that's
on LinkedIn. A week, so I time blocked it in my calendar.
That's great, Joe.
I thought that was amazing. 9 times more income than your average Facebook user.
I just came back from, NAR vacation, the annual conference. And I took a ton of AI courses when I was there. And that came up in every single one. That LinkedIn is where the income is. That one of the facts that they said, this was interesting, it said the top 20% of the country consume 50% of the goods. And that actually didn't come out of an AI class, that came out of a governance class, where it said then 80% of the country is angry and we have to create pathways for that. But anyway, it's an interesting that.
Yeah. Well, since we're on social media and we're talking about angry and how do we create happiness and dopamine, I thought Jason talked about a team that is not a Keller Williams group, but they're a group out of Texas. And they're kind of a younger, it sounded like a younger organization, and they're having great success. And they found that in their first year, agents, so for one year in, they were averaging 18 transactions a year. And 2 years in, it was 24, and then it would go up. And they had a social media playbook, basically, that isn't what a lot of us think about when we think of social media playbook, right? We think about content and getting out in front of people. But their playbook was engaging with, I believe it was 50 people a day, which is pretty high, right? So you might need to dial that back. But engaging, liking, commenting. And what happens when you do that is you're building dopamine. You're increasing the dopamine of those people, because when somebody posts something, they want to see that somebody liked it and that they engaged with you. And so, Sue, that's kind of right on the heels of what you're saying. If the country's angry, if people are looking for some type of happiness, this could be a play that you guys could.
The numbers he said in regard to that, we want to do that. And 20 friends who follow 20 people. 50 interactions,
50 interactions.
likes. 10 shares. 15 DMs. 3 posts a week. You said about that quick. 20 comments on other posts?
Yeah, like there was no, at least 3 words. Right, so what was it? What was the first one? If you had 20 friends, I'll fit the interaction with breakfast.
Yeah.
And mine, I said 20 comments on others, but it needs to be more than 3 words. No,
20 friends.
Is that per day? Yeah, that was their play, an hour and a half a day it takes them to do this, and they do it 6 days a week. All that takes an hour and a half. They
What are
said,
they
well,
doing, just going in and following 20 people? Is that what you're?
or sending a friend request, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So you guys might scale this, right? That might not be your MO, but this is something that you can do. It's actionable. You can do it every day. You can do it 3 times a week. Whatever you're gonna do, it's actionable and you can track it.
So my question is, can AI help you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't know right now because AI, having the logins, that's kind of the thing I think that they're working toward. Ashley, do you know the answer to that?
I would say not right now, just because I think they're honestly cracking down on social media with AI. Because I was trying to have an AI platform look at an Instagram page and give me a breakdown, and we used to be able to do that. But now like it can't view active accounts because it doesn't have a login. The AI bot doesn't have a login. So it's getting interesting with social media and AI.
So one of the things they did say was, you never directly post anything, in most of them said that you create in AI, you amend it because search engines are really smart and they're looking for AI produced content and they'll put you at the top. So you need to go in and you need to change it, you need to put your voice in it, you need to, not kind of look like an AI created.
Well, I think we'll come back to that because I think we talked a little bit about that, but I think about how you can, how you need to train your AI assistant. So it sounds like you. Nicole, how about you?
Oh, gosh. In regards to this or?
So your impactful takeaways or?
Yeah, if we're talking about AI, he broke it down. When he does listing appointments, he actually addresses the elephant in the room, or people should address the elephant in the room. And he talked about artificial intelligence and agent intelligence, and how he prepares his clients for that. And he had a list. So artificial intelligence, he is going to use that to help generate data. But the agent intel on that was, he's actually going to pull data for pricing. He gave the example of artificial intelligence making suggestions, while the agent intelligence would talk through staging. He may have AI touch photos up, right? But the agent intelligence, he would be the one to sit down and look at the photos, and then together they would decide which ones to use. And then artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence may do the first 3 sentences and info of a communication that's sent. But he will be the one in charge of Friday updates and what else is included in that. And then just having the conversation around how often do you want an update on your listing? Because there was a big percentage of clients that don't feel like they're getting communicated with enough. And you think once a week is fine, but it might not. So just asking how often do you want to be updated?
17% of sellers wanted to hear from their agent daily. And another 17% didn't care what it did. I think that's pretty fascinating. That's 34%. That leaves 66% that are somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah, the concept of knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just asking.
Yeah.
So you know.
That's funny. I love
If they want a daily update, that's what they asked for.
One of the things that it's really fascinating. I mean, how many people in this room feel like they're using AI at a relatively at a higher level than they were 45 days ago? Just about everybody. People are engaging in it. One of the things Jason said, so this is fascinating. Chat was down this morning. Did anybody try to get on chat this morning? Yeah.
But things are down.
It's back.
Okay.
It's up. It's up again.
Yeah.
Back up.
Nobody's showing houses yet? Okay, so what he said everybody needs to do, and I hope you guys write this one down. You need to create a master prompt template, which personalizes your AI assistant. Has anybody done it? Yeah. So, well,
Say it again.
create a master prompt template, and what I'll encourage you to do is just type this into Google. How do I create a master prompt template for my chat? My GPT. What this does is it allows your chat to know who you are, right? So you get to say, I get to say, I'm Mary Sunderman, I'm a licensed real estate agent, blah, 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 blah. I tell everything you need to know. This is how I want to communicate with my clients.
Yeah.
These are what my goals are. This is what I'm striving to achieve. This is who my client avatar is, right? Put it all in there, because once it knows those things.
Can you please check your email?
Lisa, you're not muted.
Oh, sorry.
Once you do that, the output that you're gonna get, so it kind of circles back to if you just go to your chat and say, write a property description for 123 Main Street. But if it knows who you are, it knows the tone that you want to take when you're writing, it's gonna do it at a higher level, and I don't think it's gonna be as detectable as if it's just an AI produced document.
So one of the things they talked about too is the tonality that you want of this piece that you're producing. But one of the other things, we keep talking about chat, but a couple of speakers spoke to Google Gemini, the AI, and they just now, and like, they are equal to Chat GPT. And they were raving about some of the new things that have come out on that. Like, you're looking at that.
Yeah, Jason identified, he threw 5 up there, you guys might remember, it was Chat, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity. Wrong, I can't even remember because I never even heard of it. But he says that there'll basically be 2, and they suspect it'll be Chat and Gemini that survive. Yeah. And then one other thing, and then I'm just gonna go back to writing. But the other thing that I thought was fascinating, and every one of you in this room should do, is go into your chat or go into Gemini, I don't care where you go, and ask it to show you all of the content related to, so I ask it, show me every place on the internet that Mary Sunderman is related to real estate. And it's gonna produce it's gonna show you your profile pictures. It's gonna show you your bios. It's gonna show you, and they're saying if there are things that are not in alignment, right? If you've got too many profile pictures out there, if your bio says one thing here and one thing there, if you have 2 different phone numbers that are populating, different email addresses that are populating, it's confusing the AI, and AI does not like that. It doesn't trust it. So this is a good exercise that I would challenge every one of you, because after today, as we work through the end of the year, we're gonna be focusing on these specific things in business coaching, so you can get these things in place. But that would be one thing that everybody in the group should do. Has anybody
correct it?
Okay. Well, then you've got to go to those sources and correct it, right? Because it's pulling from everywhere, Sue. It's pulling from the Columbus team website. It's pulling from Google reviews. It's pulling from, I don't know, where else? Everywhere. Social media. It's gonna Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
And then you think that it's exhausted.
Okay, you gotta have to look at this right now. I'm not gonna fucking look. No.
Jason spoke about a few things that aren't good to have in your bio. And that was like not quantifiable data, so saying things, and no one would have this, but
for an example, is I'm the best realtor in the area. It's not quantifiable. There's no way for AI to verify that. So just saying like a blanket statement like that is usually going to make AI not trust you as well, just because it can't verify that. So if you're like, oh, I have 50 5-star Google reviews, it can go in and verify that, and it's gonna trust you a little bit more for that. So just staying away from, I've been in the area the longest, or, something like that. Just give it like data that it can go and verify somewhere else. I thought that was interesting.
What are other things you mentioned? What are other things you mentioned that you shouldn't have in your?
That was the biggest thing you mentioned that you shouldn't have. Mhm. A big thing coming out in AI, and I think Mary, you talked about this in a business coaching, was AEO, or answer engine optimization. And that is gonna be really big. So if you go on and answer questions online, that's gonna keep boosting your page to the top of AI searches, and different things like that. And it's been recommended that you use Gemini, because it's a little bit better at getting like data, like pulling from the internet, things like that. To ask it, what are the top 10 real estate related questions that people are Googling? And then answer them in your own words and put that on your page. And that will really boost you. So when people Google that, you're gonna be a little bit more close to the top, they can find your page a little bit easier. And he also recommended taking that a step further and answering those questions in a YouTube video. So going on YouTube, saying the question, naming the video, the question, and then answering it while you're just sitting down talking to it, or talking in a video. So that's like, yeah, the highest level or whatever. He was like, that's, if you want to go that far, that's a really good thing to do. But yeah, just take those questions right from Google and answer them in a video.
You said 3?
Probably 10.
Oh, 10.
I mean, 10 to 20 to 50 to 100,
Oh,
like
okay.
as many as you can. It'll just keep boosting you up. Because it's gonna see you as a resource. The more questions that you answer.
All at once.
Work on it like 5 a month or something like that.
You said Gemini is the better.
I think so. You can use chat too. I mean, they both kind of pull from the internet, but sometimes Gemini, I see like the data is a little bit different.
It's not better for language, they just.
Chat will work better for language.
So if you were going to pay for, should you pay for both of them, chat? And also
We
Gemini?
have to look at the resources. Through the KW, you actually get the enhanced version of Gemini, so you don't need to pay for that.
Okay, great.
If you're using your KW email, like KW Google account.
Okay.
So if you're gonna pay for one, pay for chat, because you get Gemini for free already.
So I'm looking at a big view. What we want to use AI as a tool is to keep engaged with people who know you, love you, refer you, and have an easier touch system. That's 80% of your business comes from 20% of your people. And then we've got this 80% of people who don't know you. So how much time do you spend on your not events? I've always been overloaded on my events.
Yeah.
And so that's where I get a little bit confused of how much time do I want to spend? Will have AI spend, will my staff spend, trying to use people who don't know me for business. But I'd be better off spending time face to face, having a Friday lunch every Friday with people.
Yeah, so I don't know that I heard Jason specifically address this, but from all of the research I've done, that's the purpose of these videos, is to engage with your not mets.
No.
They start to know you that way, and they start to feel like they know you without actually having to sit down for that lunch. That's why the video is so important.
Right.
And when Jason talked about those 5 AI platforms right now, and it basically probably boiling down to the 2, he said the one, all research points to YouTube is going nowhere, right? It's alive and well, and it will be that platform. Exactly, Google owns it. So
Okay,
that's kind of gonna be now it's what do you do with the videos? How are you pushing them out? So that's gonna probably be your social media, including LinkedIn, we talked about that. And engaging with people that way.
so my last not met,
Mhm.
a gentleman who has to sell brothers a house in the state in West. Instead of, I've seen you sold a lot of property in West. So how did you do that? Because we did sell 3 properties in the West area in like 3 months. I mean, post them, they went to LinkedIn, they went to Facebook, they went to Twitter. So I need to maybe ask him, hey, how exactly did you find me? We could have just asked AI. But that wouldn't be me. I mean, we had 3 sales in 3 months. None of that I had, so.
I think almost.
Yes, that's what it looked like. So I think I gotta ask him, how exactly did you find it? Because this is all about getting your not mets, calling you. This was a come list people. He had the key ready.
No, I mean, I think having 3 sales in Westgate is a pretty prominent position to be in terms of
They
market
were
share
all in 3 month time.
in that timeframe. So that's pretty intense market share. And then I'll say on the reverse side, how many of us have had people call us over the years thinking that they saw our sign somewhere and they didn't?
Well,
So the data is kind of, when you're going on somebody's memory, you just kind of have to take it at face value, and it's a small sample.
it's these not mets, because I had a guy call me, this was way out off Britain Road, and goes, I just Googled top realtor and what you. It was 43204, I think he entered 43214, but I hadn't sold anything up there. There was a 275 listed and a 400 buy.
Right.
But it was just, so he Googled and pushed a 1 instead of a 0.
So, Joe, I don't know that you're ever gonna get the answer to those,
Right.
and keep in mind, they're small samples. Like, I don't know that I'd hang my business on
No, no.
the feedback of, but when you're doing this, it just is gonna keep showing.
Sure. It's just a balance of how much time do I spend attracting my not bets?
Keep in mind though, and this is the other thing that they talk about, and I'm probably confusing some of my information and data. But if you're gonna take the time to produce these videos, you are gonna get gobs of content out there, right?
Right.
It's stuff that can go in emails, it goes on social media, it goes on your website, it goes on your blog, it goes on YouTube. And then you can, send it, oh, I was talking to so-and-so at lunch and they asked about what are the top 3 challenges, new buyers are facing in the market. Well, I've got a video on it. I'm just going to send that. And you can forward that on to the friends you were talking about. So it's just how are you utilizing the content? But I think it's going to go back to how are you using, and maybe Ashley can, how are you tagging the database? To me, that's probably one of the most important things that everybody should really be focused on in 2026 is how your database is tagged. Because what good is all of this content if you don't get multiple uses out of it? So we talk about tagging database. Do you guys tag who you're friends with on Facebook and who you follow on Instagram in Command? Well, if you were gonna do a social media play like that, it would be a good thing to do, right? Because then you could just filter and say, okay, show me everybody who's in my database, who's a client or in my database, and if I'm not following them, then that's an action plan, right? That's what I get to do in the first half of 2026, and I get to make that play. You can tag them for anything. I mean, just tag. That's what I can tell you about you today. That's how you're gonna get the most out of it.
Yeah, LinkedIn do it now.
Mhm. All right, Nicole, what other prompts you have?
Well, before we move on really quick, I wanted to share, did we talk about Hemingway.com and having your communications being at fourth and fifth grade
Oh,
level?
yeah.
So I thought that was important to talk about kind of over here. When you are sharing information, there's a website called Hemingway.com that you can have it analyze what you've written. And you want, when you're creating these questions, these FAQs in your bio, then it really should be at a fourth and fifth grade level, right? How you talk. Doesn't have to sound super fancy. So you use that to have them. So in your bio, I and Ashley talked about this, you should have a list of frequently asked questions. You do it over time, I'll need all 40 in one day. That will, the consistency builds the trust. But his point was when you're answering these frequently asked questions that you're gonna have in your bio, they should be answered at a fourth and fifth grade level.
And Jason was cute because he said he was always self-conscious about not going beyond high school, I guess, I don't know. And he always wicked intelligent, right?
Yeah.
He said he was always trying to use large words and words that maybe not everybody understand, and he said that was a big aha.
Don't spend a ton of time trying to sound smart, or, using big words that majority of us, you're gonna be more relatable when you're writing it.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't understand it.
That then depend on the audience, we're trying to speak to. Because if LinkedIn is your higher earners, they speak a little bit different language than the average Joe Boy with about $250,000 house.
I don't know if Jason would say yes to that, Mary. I think he would still say, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
That's why I do mean that very sincerely. Know the words, understand the words, be willing to dance and able to dance the dance when you find yourself there, but putting somebody in a situation where they don't understand what you're saying is a surefire way for them to find a different path. Right.
When they were talking about LinkedIn, are they talking about creating content specifically for it? Because I have never sat down and scrolled it. Or are they talking about like DMs and reaching out to people, like connecting that way? I think so. Because I just feel like, I mean, obviously it works for somebody, but I don't think that anybody is about LinkedIn to that.
And you never
Is it
see
your
it.
spirit you want to play?
Yeah.
Just introduce you to the people.
Yeah, I
think
guess.
that
I mean, I just don't know the level that will actually use LinkedIn besides like their thing.
I do think it depends, I agree, but maybe you'd be surprised. If you don't spend a lot of time there, you might, I know my best friend is very prolific on LinkedIn, and she's had connections all over the world, and she's like, why aren't you on LinkedIn more? Too busy to be on LinkedIn, but it's a great resource, so you might make new connections.
Yeah, there'd be an opportunity. He mentioned having, sharing case studies or stories. What's the story of your favorite client? So you could just, tell a story of a Mary Smith first-time home buyer and a little story around her and the experience and anything else you want to share around that. AI wants case studies also on who you don't want to work with. You can include some of them. Like, yeah. So case studies of who you've worked with, favorite clients, And then, I have written down here, AI wants case studies on who you don't want to work with.
I think
Anybody else
that's
in the
something
room,
you
what was
put
that
in the-
conversation around?
I think that's something you put in the master prompt and
Mhm.
not necessarily like online, but like post that.
I was gonna say,
Yeah. I mean, that's like
Photos
it'll be-
not call me
Yeah.
if you are.
Yes,
Maybe that's where that case study.
that's a
would go.
great point, that's a great point. And then in your template where you mentioned also include cities or areas you don't work.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, and you could
Yesterday, but you know,
agents that you recommend for the clients or the areas that you don't serve. As building that trust. Is there anybody taking any actions or have they implemented anything that they've learned last week already? Or that you're planning to implement?
Yeah, I did the link.
Okay, yep,
Time
good.
block.
Perfect. Anybody else?
I did the, asked about me and where I appeared on the internet. I thought that was fascinating. So, but it was funny because I put in to chat, show me all the places, my name. I think I wrote the prompt exactly like Jason said it.
Yeah,
And it didn't know what I was talking about. Like I had to put in Mary Sunderman. It didn't recognize that I was who I was. Which I thought, well, that then was my little, light bulb that, hey, it needs to know me better, right?
Yeah.
So I need to train it up my.
Mary, once you see some of the, places you've been like years ago, is there a way to get rid of that or just?
You have to
update it?
hold up Barb and see what's there. Have you done it?
No, not
Well,
yet.
then we won't have the conversation until you pull it up. and see what's there. So, yes, to Barb's point, if you've been at another brokerage or if you were on another team or you, whatever. There might be some conflicting data, but just see what's there first. And, you can't necessarily go out and erase it.
No.
And the other thing I think is really important to keep in mind, guys, that everything we're talking about today is good for. Yeah, and he said that when he's doing this in 30 days, it's gonna change. I mean, it's changing that fast. And it's just a part of our businesses now. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's not going to replace us. AI, you know what jobs AI replaces? Anybody know? Repetitive, task oriented, not complex. I mean, we work in a complex industry. What we solve complex problems. And so AI is not going to replace us. So this notion of wanting to kind of pretend that it's not there is only going to set us behind. He equated it to, and I can remember when search engine optimization really became a thing. And we had our first website, and I was the first real estate brokerage in our city to really have a good website, interactive website that actually gave people information and didn't make them, call and give secret code to get the property address, right? And he said that's what AI is right now. So the people who are jumping on board now are kind of like where they were when the internet really just figure out how to use it and enhance it to enhance your business.
Are there sources either online or in the fashion paper that address AI and how it's evolving and things they can catch with this,
I think your publications like Inman News and, you guys have all seen the MLS now has AI for photos. I haven't had a chance to, did anybody use it yet? I saw it. Okay, well, why did you do?
Because I think you also follow people who are teaching this. Like, Mark Britton. BRIT. Well, yeah, Lauren Lucas, Mark Britton. There's a gal out in the south side of Chicago named Marky, MARKI, limits something. RYHAL with Royale or something like that. If you put in Marky, that's a very unusual name. Just follow them because their websites are just full of stuff they're doing.
You go to YouTube also and just type in AI for real estate agents, and I bet you'll have lots. Somebody, Jean actually was telling me of a couple people she's following on YouTube, Jean McKee. So
And you find out the programs they're using to create some of this content, like Gamma and it's looking at one this morning. Oh, Sora, SORA. And, but you gotta learn how to use it to help them create content. And they're creating lots of content in hours. And just having it ready.
90% of the content is produced by 1% of the people online, 90% of them.
Really?
Now, I think in our mind, we're all creating, I know I am, I'm always creating content. This doesn't get anywhere except in my head. And so I thought that was a really fascinating figure. And so if you are looking for opportunities to create content, you can use chat for Gemini. Say, I'm looking for, and to Sue's point, if you're going to take the time to do it, make it in multiple. I just saw somebody post, if you're holding an open house and you don't have like 3 weeks worth of content from just that time you were at the open house, you kind of missed the boat. So it's just, we're overcomplicating what what are some things you could talk about? And you can repost these things, right? It doesn't have to be brand new content every single time you post. You might prevent from growth. It might have been something cool that you saw in the house. I don't know.
Also in Connect, in Command, there are playbooks, after playbooks, one pagers for just spelling and including. Okay. So you have that resource also where somebody's literally taken their play, written it down for you step by step by step. So look and Connect also.
Jason talked about, one of the other things that stood out for me was he talked about farming. And he said, if you're in real estate and you're not farming, he's like, I'm not sure why you're in real estate, which to me was like a deep gasp, right? But then I realized, how do most of us view farming? Did you say, who says a lot of work? So you view it correctly. Well, Jason said farming, so most of us think farming is sending a postcard once a month to. So he said it's 24 postcards, or 24 mailings, I should say, right? 24 mailings. 65% of the mailings are between November and April. So what I've told myself, well, I don't want my stuff to get mixed up in holiday mail, right? Well, that's when people are actually thinking about what they're going to do in the spring. 3 client events in the farm. And 1, what do you say, stop and talk or stop and chat, yeah. And that, I think, if that was.
So you said
context-
October to April?
November to March.
November to-
Yeah, November. 5%.
Geez, and we used the back off.
That's exactly it. But but the reason I bring it up though, it's not like what we thought, it's the events are the key thing, so like 3 events in your farm.
Talked about having a reader,
Mhm.
having a table. Give them something, stop and chat. We came up with flowers and photos. So. But he didn't mention it, but you always remember, it's not the event, it's the invite. No one asked you to go to something. Oh, that's really nice, Mary asked. I can't go to that, but that's nice, she asked. It is. Oh, yeah. Just remind them Mary Dobbs on the.
Exactly.
The farming works if you're consistent. I've got we across our farm.
What do you do, Glenn, that you feel, other than the consistency, or is it just the consistency?
Well, we added to it every year, so we do about 600 homes, and we're in the state, west, it's 12 postcards for visits, like not buys, we're dropping something off to a CMA and something of value, like I'm always trying to get coupons from a new business, or Dairy Queen's a good partner of ours where we get free ice cream cones or free cakes, whatever. We do a food drive, we've done, we do a coat drive. I forget how many touches, I think we're over 20 touches, right? Well,
That's awesome.
and then like one of them has the Ohio State schedule magnet, so that's something people keep, like I got gone into a house where there's 7 of my magnets on the side of the refrigerator, you know, they just don't throw them away. But yeah, we do a really good job in our farm, and it's just taking time.
Yeah.
I got no business probably for 3 or 4 or 5 years at all, like not one, and you're like, it's like that, you know, the miner digging, and it's dug for so long, it just gives up, and you see the picture of the gold is right behind that next shovel, you know, it's kind of like that. Like, you just gotta have faith, you gotta keep going
And when did you start your farm?
consistently. I've done a lot in our neighborhood for 15 years, but probably 10 years, we've been pretty consistent. With, I think, this is our 4th annual food for coat drive. I think our, just their 8th or 9th food drive. But before that, they were still getting something with Popeyes, like 4 times a year. 600 door hangers 4 times a year. Every quarter, they get a door hanger with branded my stuff, a CMA, one for the east side of High Street, one for the west side of High Street, depending on where we are, and then something like that.
Put that up, on the 600, like, the 200, the first one, 200, the second, the process.
And do you go out and do it yourself, Glenn?
Gabby, I do it. Gabby does most of it. Then when my kids at home, I take that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My goal is at least 2 million in business, but last year it was like 3.5 million. And we have no money. There's nothing, and we don't have any, nothing's invested. We, you know, the bags cost us initially. We get the postcards, the mailers are paid for half by the lender, half by us. I mean, yeah, candy and that kind of stuff, but our cost is 2,000 a year, maybe, for 60-70,000 in revenue typically.
Full that printing.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're just printing on the CMA. I mean, you know. that'd be all.
The door hanger.
Or the door hanger, I think was, I mean, we ordered thousands when we did it, so I feel like those bought it paid for years ago, but, really, it's not that expensive. Like, when you break it down, every house is, the magnets are getting a little pricey, but it's not that expensive.
How long does it take to do all?
It depends on who's doing it. My wife won't cut through yards. Up and down every sidewalk and driveway. I go, I'm just Like, okay, I can do, I look at every street as 50 houses, basically, it's about an average. And I can do 2 streets in an hour. Hustling. But I'm hanging them on, I'm just not.
Cutting 2 yards.
It's not, but I cut through I feel like I'm like the mailman, I can see the mailman's path, like, oh, I just missed the mailman, I'm right behind him. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm just out there trying to get that material out there. Usually we get it done in a week. Yeah, we'll do 1 or 2 streets, we have 10, 12, 13 or 14 streets, right? 13 streets, and I'll do 1 or 2 a day, and Kathy will do 1 or 2, and we skip a day if it's raining or
Right.
super windy, we don't run stuff along the day or whatever. So there's a lot of covered courses, but a lot that aren't covered, so we try to figure out when people are gonna see that and get it. It's just quarterly, so it's.
I didn't know like,
Previous.
so it can change for February.
We do it in January. Yeah.
Do you communicate via email to them or you?
They're printed in the bag.
They're not individualized.
That's awesome. Thanks, Glenn, for sharing that. And that takes a lot of, support, so,
The food drive takes the longest time. The coat drive is easy. We partnered with different businesses and they go, yeah, they don't bring in business, we can advertise
mhm,
it too. And then they get like a free drink or a glass of wine or beer, wherever we've done it. Brewery, we've done. Our park, the last couple of years over on Kenworth,
Mhm.
wine shop. So, yeah, it's not that far, it's just
They bring it to you.
the coats. Yeah, we have a box and I just stop by and pick up coats and then we bring them home and if they need to wash, we wash them and we sort them and then we just drop them. We do like to drop off. But the food drive is the biggest one. We do about 1,825 food. That has to be sorted in box. They're taking the
wow.
and we do all that in the day. Pick up all that food in the day and try to get it out sorted. By the
So you pick it up from their homes or they're also dropping that off?
No, we drive around, so that's another drop off.
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
we drop off a Kroger bag, Kroger sponsors the
Mhm.
bags, they've always given us the bags. We put a flyer, that says. Move group 5th annual, 16th annual, 7th annual, whatever, and that's a drop. And we put it on the porch, it says, please put this bag with the label facing out on Saturday, 5:10, we'll be picking up 5:30. And we just keep making loops and making loops, so we've got all the.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it's fun, there's more prep going into it, but it's literally, we get a couple of volunteers, and, one day I drive around Saturday.
Yeah.
That people find a lot of value. I can't tell you, people go, I can't. Because the food pantry is very helpful, they postcard. They always are, we need a picture of you in front of this, and we're gonna tag you.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Good.
But it's absolutely, get that back, so, you have to engage in the community, you can't just drop off a postcard.
And I think that was the big takeaway, farming, a lot of people like that kind of very passive thought of sending a postcard and then getting called to,
Well, they want easy. Everyone wants easy, and this isn't an easy business.
and that's, and just kind of to follow up why I think the things you're doing are working so well. It's become very low. There's many good things that are coming out of like these AI but people are forging relationships with their chatbot, right? And what people are craving is this one-on-one type. So when you're, approaching their house and going to do something that's humane and human, it really changes who you are in their mind. And so I think that's really, really powerful. And that's where the farming.
Well, I think for a lot of people, for us, we're facilitating the ease of giving. So they feel good about themselves because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, well, I was gonna drop those off, or I was gonna take those over to, you know, wherever, but I didn't, and, oh, someone's gonna come pick them up, or I can, you know, I can get the food, oh, we were gonna go over there anyway, to follow wine, take 2 coats, you know, like, so. I think it's that tie into their emotion that's kind of really helps building those relationships.
Jason talked a lot about treating your database like an asset. And with that, you have 2 choices. You either love on your database or you meet strangers.
He said both work. I mean, yeah, some people just want the new business over and over and over, you know, and it wasn't a judgment. It was just, it's one or the other.
Yeah. You need a strategy, not a tactic. And then he gave some examples of loving on your database, both micro and macro events. The Scott Maloof team, they have a strategy called 52 first dates. And once a week, you take an active client to breakfast that you're actively representing. You schedule lunch for the past client. And then dinner is reserved for a VIP from your database or event. And then he followed that up with the human brain is wired to connect over a meal. There you go.
Jeff Mahler was very successful, and that's part of his strategy. He's always done small group dinners. He said he got so much traffic out of that, connecting people, and he would always pick certain people to put together at that table. And like,
I think, I think what Jason touched on a lot of strategies to grow your business. But the thing you have to identify is who are you, right? Because if you're not loving what you're doing, there's really, that's not why we're in this business. It's a hard business regardless. And then to put yourself out there in a way that you don't want to, we can say, oh, challenge yourself, push yourself. But if you don't like it, find the thing you love to do and the business will come, and I think that's why, he went through so many of these, not like, we'll do this, but hey, just open your mind to some of the things that you can do.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, there is a team that does Foster Fridays, and they go into no-kill shelters and volunteer all day. And they blast it on social media, and their tagline is, "We don't just find homes for people."
Oh,
They have the animals. So they're doing what they organically love and what they're passionate about, and then they're spreading the word. Whatever people know. Foster Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, these people were taking their entire Friday and the staff all day. Every Friday.
yeah, and when does that mean that they find when to do that? Right.
they're probably posting on their social media, here's Alex, a 3-year-old.
Oh, I see.
There's,
Yeah. That's what we don't. Yeah.
yeah, right,
Oh, that's so cute.
yeah. Connecting.
Oh, that's.
Yep, exactly.
And that person calls them to adopt that puppy or reaches out or whatever, then they are the active database and they're not always remember, they say, oh my God, we don't get our baby.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Some of the hottest events right in this moment are flowers and photos. So you can partner with a florist, or people can create their own bouquets.
Oh, Christmas, right?
Yes,
Santa,
Scrooge,
Santa and Scrooge,
they get to pick.
they have to pick who they want their picture with.
Yes.
Santa or Scrooge, but they have to pick, they don't get both, yeah,
Yes.
because that's popular.
Yeah, and invite pets to that, do photos with pets.
It was crafty, you could do a wreath making, any holiday decoration, kind of a flying event that you're just doing little groups of certain people and.
Yeah. He even told the story of an agent who was concerned about her health, and so in order to kind of hold herself accountable, she blasted on her neighborhood Facebook or social media page that at 6:30 in the morning, however many days a week, she was gonna be in the park. And if anybody wanted to walk with her, they were welcome to. And the told story about the husband being angry, and now you just told everybody in the world where you're gonna be and you're gonna be alone anyway. So she thought, well, great, I just guess you're gonna have to come with me. So they started walking, his health improved, and then the group grew and grew and grew, and that's how she built her business in her neighborhood, was just from, come walk with me, help hold myself, help hold me accountable to you.
So
And
if
it
anybody
became like a
remembers
thing.
Joe Blondo, the writer for the dispatch. He walked from Worthington to downtown, the dispatch building every single morning for work. And he gathered a collection of people that did it with him. That's a great idea.
Excellent
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. We did that for years.
Yeah. And just to get you guys thinking, he gave another example of an agent that was new to an area and had to start her business and knowing nobody. And so she founded this, speed friending, she called it. And the first Friday of every month, she went to the same restaurant and she invited people and to meet 10 to 15 new people, you know, who do you want to get to know? And that's how she built her business, was something she was missing in her life. And she invited other people to join her, and then everybody walked away with a new friend or two. Just yeah.
Years ago, I started a neighborhood mastermind, it was 5 of us, and every one of those people bought a house. Or new business. And all of us have grown our businesses from the time we started. We didn't do it, I think we did it for 5 years, but we all exponentially grew all our businesses with the help of each other.
So when you say neighborhood mastermind, what was it? What would you mastermind?
Business, yeah, we were 5 business owners, all trying to figure out a different niche on what we were doing. One was a startup dentist. I had a real estate business, one was a builder. One was in ad sales. But yeah, just get together and have coffee and talk about the struggles we had the past week and how we can help each other. Really good. It's great. Yeah.
Anything that was discussed in the luncheon after? I hope that.
There was a youngish guy who, I think he was 27, and he wanted to figure out how he could get into higher dollar transactions. I don't know that is anybody else in this? I don't know that the answer was particularly clear because Jason had 29% market share of professional athletes home purchases when he was active as an agent. That was his reach, so 29%. So he didn't really have a great answer because I think he was just kind of telling him, like, hey, you know, don't overthink it, you know, just create the avatar for your. They talked about, for anybody in this room who is like, well, I'm not necessarily active in selling, but I want to maybe grow a market center, or maybe grow another business, or maybe you're gonna mastermind and help other people grow. Everything we're talking about here can transfer to something bigger, different format. It's no different. It's just, how do we stay in touch with and how do we? Talent, because you talked about talent and that, attracting talent, that I think was one of the things. Yes. Question. I feel like it wasn't a lot of information.
I think what a lot of us miss is the opportunities for content. I think what we do on a daily basis most of the time adds a lot of content to a lot of people if we just stop and realize, oh, I should take a picture of that. And then have that in your data, in your file, so that you can go. That was a really interesting thing. I just saw this house and now I can post it a week or two later. What, does anyone know what this is? Or like, it's just anything to get engagement with anybody.
Maybe a year or two later.
Yeah,
It can be any
just-
time.
yeah.
And it does not have to be perfect. That includes videos, that includes whatever else you're doing. Done is great. And if it's curated too much, you're gonna lose people's interest. They're not interested. They're gonna scroll right by. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody likes how they look on the video, get over it, right? Yeah. Any last thoughts, comments, aha from the day? Anybody that wasn't there and learned a thing or two this morning? Yeah. Our pleasure.
And like I mentioned, from next week through the end of the year, everything we do in business coaching is going to be geared to AI and how to implement it in your business. Doesn't mean we won't talk about other things if you have other needs or questions or challenges, but that's really the focus. So some of the things we talked about here today, we're actually going to go ahead.
Mary, on kind of an AI topic, if anyone wants to say anything cool, Place just implemented in our Burgundy system, AI script practice. So I can call AI. And they pick up and go, yeah, this is Charlie, who is this? And then you literally get into a buyer scenario, listing scenario. I met you at an open house, like whatever the scenario is, we type that in there, pick the category, and we have about 4 to 5 minute conversation with the AI. And then it gives you a whole breakdown of what you did right and what you did wrong, and then gives you a grade. Really fun.
But that's just.
Yeah.
I did it. I did it. It's super cool. Super cool.
And then you get done, you're like, gosh, like, it was so real to buy it. Because people do ask you this, you have to come up with these objections, words, and you don't have them. Like, somehow I got to transition out of this to do that. So it's really quite. I thought the most interesting thing about that is the critique, because it tells you like you need to ask more open-ended questions. You need to address the comment that they said that like they just had to think the situation or whatever it is.
It's helpful. It really is eye-opening. Things that you think you're doing well, maybe you need a little improvement on, and but it's just that instant feedback.
Yeah.
It's really, really something.
Especially around the listening skills. Oh, wow. It's not, it's talking with the listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.